Good evening, everybody. My name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker. I am joined by meteorologist Blaze Thomas, along with Frankie Shepard here on the Arkansas Weather Network. The reason that we're live with you right now is at 5:17 p.m. on Friday. We have a lot of severe weather ongoing across the region, not a whole lot in Arkansas. A lot of activity, including confirmed tornado warnings in southeast Oklahoma. Blaze, right now our biggest concern though is South Fort Smith, soon to be South Fort Smith, we think, and South Sebastian County due to large hail.
That's right, Zach. We're continuing to watch a couple areas here, and I do want to say for anybody that is in like northwest Arkansas, we're not expecting much severe weather this evening into the overnight hours. I think for the most part, this is going to be more of a River Valley, southwest Arkansas area. But like Zach was saying, we're watching a storm that is going to be heading directly towards Fort Smith, as well as this one near the Hartford area. I think Huntington's going to be missed by this particular storm, but earlier the radar was actually estimating over 2-inch hail. We didn't really. I don't. Did we get any reports of that, Zach? If it actually was making it to the ground, do you know?
I don't have any at this time. Both of these storms outside, the South Oklahoma storm, or excuse me, the Southern LaFleur County storm has had, more populated areas, but the one to the north has been through fairly rural areas, so we haven't had as many reports. But this one, the North Storm has produced, we've had reports of softball-sized hail. And so this is headed for Fort Smith. There's a possibility that this weekends, there's a little bit more stable air right at the Arkansas state line compared to what's existing in Oklahoma. And we think that that could inhibit some thunderstorm potential severe weather-wise. We also, Blaze, have a storm that's headed for Polk County that's produced large hail. Hatfield and Cove are both kind of in the bullseye for that.
Yeah, looking at the just overall the atmosphere, but also I'm thinking, what would you say, Zach, is the strongest storm we're probably tracking? Probably this Cove one, honestly,
Yeah,
since it's more isolated.
This one, the one near Hatfield and Cove in Polk County, is fairly strong. No disrespect to the South Sebastian County storm here. This one's starting to lose a little bit of organization, and the storm that's headed for Fort Smith, Sebastian County, that's going through Muldrow and Gans now, I feel like that one has weakened some in the last 15 minutes, but it certainly has potential as well. So we'll see what that one has to offer. I think large hail is a potential with all of these storms as this drifts southeast into southwest Arkansas through the evening.
Well, one thing we were noticing, and this was maybe a little bit overdone by the radar, but we were both noticing this, Zach, that radar is estimating over 3-inch hail with the storm that is heading towards Fort Smith, but now radar is only showing about 1 inch. So that's good news. Again, I think it might have been a little bit too aggressive in terms of the hail size with that, but at one point that hail core was very strong.
Yeah, the storm that's headed for South Sebastian County, that's moving through LaFleur County, Oklahoma right now, has really merged with this larger complex, and I think that that's going to really limit the hail potential. There might be some strong wind gusts as that moves through South Sebastian County, maybe the Hartford area, maybe Midland. Midland's not included in the warning. If you live south of Hartford, Poto Mountain down here, south of Hartford, that's a very rural area, Blaze. Not a whole lot of people down there, but there is some. And then, of course, the Fort Smith storm, if this storm holds together and does produce some hail, a lot of people live in South Fort Smith, Hackett, Bonanza, Barling, maybe even Greenwood here. I just don't know what the longevity of that storm looks like due to the stable air that exists there in western Arkansas. So,
well, just looking at the latest radar scan, just on another radar product, now it's showing under 1-inch hail. So I'm seeing pretty significant indications that this storm is weakening, and it's weakening fast, and that's good news, guys. Very good news.
yeah, I think we're in good shape for the time being. I will say though, the storm that's moving in South Sebastian County, though, even if there's not a lot of large hail involved, certainly a lot of lightning in that storm. This is it's a severe thunderstorm. It means business as it moves off to the east-southeast. And then I don't want to forget about our friends down in Polk County, Blaze. This storm, it doesn't look real big on radar, but this storm has been fairly strong, produced some hail, and it does have lightning in it as well, maybe some strong wind gusts. That warning does not go, though, into Polk County. It does not go downstream into Polk County at this time, so we'll see what the National Weather Service does with that storm.
I'm looking at just kind of overall different areas. To me, that Mina storm, I agree with you. I think that's the strongest storm we're tracking right now. And according to this, it's showing 2-inch hail. So, and don't want to take anything away from this, but we do have that confirmed tornado in Oklahoma. And I'm just looking at rotation, guys. I know that's not in Arkansas, but that
Yeah.
rotation has significantly tightened. You watching that, Frankie?
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it. I know Scott Hollinger is close to there over in Oklahoma.
Folks, what we're referencing here, this is where all the activity is right now. It's in eastern Oklahoma, soon to be western southwest Arkansas. This activity is going to drift east southeast with time tonight and will impact a large chunk of southwest Arkansas. We'll see how well this holds together, but there's a lot of severe weather out there tonight. Blaze, I think it's pretty fair to say that some of us are going to deal with this over the next several hours as we go through the evening hours of Friday, especially in southwest Arkansas. That's really the emphasis here, the southwest half of the state.
Yeah, it's just going to kind of be a wait and see game, especially with these storms that are riding the boundary or just east of the boundary. And the good news is, just looking at the latest radar scans, just overall, to me it looks like these storms are weakening, especially this one that is west of Fort Smith. So that's good news. Will they continue the severe thunderstorm warning? Probably, just because of how intense the storm is. But I do think things are weakening right now, so that's great news. But I don't want to take anything away from the Poto storm that's moving towards Waldron or just south of Waldron. It does have a considerable tag. And the storm I'm talking about, guys, is this particular storm right here. They went with a considerable tag, and they did that for the fact of the hail risk associated with the storm. If we look, we can take a look in overall, and you guys can see that you see where this storm really intensified. Very large hail here. The latest radar scan does look weaker right there.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's good news. That's why we think that things are weakening some in this area. But then we're also, man, that was an intense storm just to the south of Sallisaw. That was some very large hail according to radar. Newest scan right there just to the north or just to the south of Muldrow is indicating to us that this is weakening. So guys, I think both these storms are weakening.
Yeah.
This one, not so much.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised the National Weather Service hasn't expanded that warning out into more of Polk County, but I suppose they're just waiting to kind of see what that storm does here over the next 20 minutes or so. We have to watch for the rotation on that storm as well. I don't know if that's just going to be a prolific rotating storm, but
yeah, there's a little bit of broad rotation there. So I'm right there with you, Zach. I'm surprised we don't have a warning on this yet, but I fully anticipate we will.
I think the storms, I think you hit the nail on the head with the storms to the north. I mean, certainly they're noisy. This storm it's eventually going to move into Sebastian County, there south Fort Smith, but the hail size on that has went down quite a bit. And then the South Sebastian County storm, the hail sizes have dropped off a cliff, thankfully. So if you live in South Sebastian County near the Hartford area or in northern Scott County, north or south of Poto Mountain, that's the area that we're talking about. You can see Waldron at the bottom right part of your screen. And then, of course, Hartford as well, there near Poto Mountain. So Poto Mountain is right. I think we have it labeled on our map, Blaze, right here. Yeah, Poto Mountain. So it's pretty easy to see the topographical map. That's going to go right over the top of Poto Mountain. So if anybody's turkey hunting on Poto Mountain and you're listening to this, now is a good time to get back to your truck ASAP, because it's not going to be fun turkey hunting in this. I can assure you they will not be gobbling in that weather. And then, of course, the Fort Smith storm as well. I feel like we've talked about it quite a bit. The hail sizes went down with that. And that's really it. Blaze, we haven't talked about this up here. The I-40 storms from Conway over to Clarksville, these are not severe at this time. These are just kind of noisy, general thunderstorms at this time, not really causing a whole lot of problems.
Right. And the reason for that, guys, is the fact that, it's not tapping into an environment that is unstable. This is more of a stable environment, especially with the rain we saw this morning. Parts of this afternoon saw some more rain. So that's the good news about early morning rain, especially because it will limit a severe weather threat. And that's what we're seeing right now. Some of the models, though, guys, previously was pretty aggressive on more thunderstorm development, but we're just not seeing that in terms of severe storms. I do want to make note that the National Weather Service has decreased the severe thunderstorm warning. It was considerable tag. This was for the storm that was right around the Poto area. They've went to a regular severe thunderstorm warning. So that's good news, guys. Again, that indicates to us that the overall storm is decreasing in terms of intensity. So that is really good news to see. And I think at this point, I mean, it's still strong. I think it's still producing 1-inch hail, but I just don't think it's producing that over 2 inches that we saw previously.
No, this just looks to me like a general strong thunderstorm in the spring. It doesn't look like anything too prolific. Krista Rickard's asking about Lincoln, Arkansas. She just joined. Not expecting a whole lot in northwest Arkansas tonight. Paula Marie is in Mount Ida, which is down in Montgomery County. Storms are certainly possible in Montgomery County this evening. Some could be strong. Jordan Roberts is in Monroe, Oklahoma. Said that that there's hail in that storm. Blaze, that's the storm. Monroe, Oklahoma is there just west of Hartford, so right across the state line in Oklahoma. So, Jordan, we would love to hear what the hail size was there in Monroe and LaFleur County, so we can give a heads up to our South Sebastian County people.
Yeah, and just looking at this on the latest radar scan, it looks to me like it's weakening as well. And I think we can see that reflected on the, So, I mean, that's very large hail that this thing was producing. But if you look at the very edge of this, the latest radar scan, we're seeing a decrease in that. I still think it's producing hail, and I think some of this could be large. But I don't think it's, radar was estimating close to 2-inch hail. Now it's only estimating 1 inch. So that tells us right there that storms are weakening. Guys, if storms continue to be on the weakening trend, I am not going to argue, and I'm not going to be upset about that. So let's let them continue to weaken.
Yeah, I think Blaze, you want to switch it back to level 2. Sorry, I didn't mean to grab the cursor from you. Just looking at some of the comments that are coming in, people asking about Crawford County, people are asking about Fort Smith. I'm guessing probably in Crawford and Fort Smith there, Van Buren, you're likely hearing the thunder from the storm that's moving into eastern Oklahoma. If you're in Fort Smith, North Sebastian County in general, Hackett, Greenwood, Barling, Arcoma, Fort Smith, there is a thunderstorm, a severe thunderstorm that's headed out of LaFleur County and into Fort Smith-ish area soon. It's probably going to miss Van Buren, but that storm to the north has a little bit of activity we'll have to watch, of course. But really the bigger storm at this time is the one moving into extreme southern Sebastian and northern Scott County. And that does have a severe thunderstorm warning on it. It kind of cuts off there at Poto Mountain. We got a comment that said it was thundering in Mena. Joey Pelton's in Boone County asking if they're going to get anything. Not anything out of this complex. Not expecting much up in Boone County.
All right, we're fixing to see a new severe thunderstorm warning coming for Pope County. Pope County's fixing to go in that. And another thing.
Really? What's the...
Frankie messaged us. What was that report you got just a second ago?
I'm looking at the warning for the storm down near Hatfield, and National Weather Service did put a tornado possible tag on it.
All right, so this is the Polk County storm is what Frankie's talking about, guys. Hatfield and Cove, there's no tornado warning, but the National Weather Service is referencing that this could potentially produce a tornado, which is kind of like a safeguard of saying, hey, we don't think it's imminent, but we're not ruling it out. I think the biggest concern with the Hatfield and Cove storm south of Mena is large hail.
Okay, I think they accidentally mistyped. They put Pope County, but then they changed it to Polk County.
Okay,
that makes more sense. Because I was like,
I
was completely confused at that point. So.
I was gonna say it's got to be for hail or something. Like there's no way, because those storms out to the east are in some really stable air right now. Just don't expect a whole lot of. So a warning is coming for the Polk County storm. Is what you're saying?
It says on the text. It says edited. So they.
Gotcha. Yeah, we all make mistakes. It happens.
Absolutely. Yep.
So just to kind of reset for everybody, a lot of people are joining, asking the same questions, and I get that people come in at different times. Folks, the reason why we're live with you, my name is Zachary Hall, otherwise known as the Arkansas Storm Tracker. I'm joined by meteorologist Blaze Thomas and Frankie Shepard. And we are here covering storms that are moving into western Arkansas, some storms along I-40. There's a lot of nasty storms in eastern Oklahoma with confirmed tornado warnings. And all of this nastiness here in eastern Oklahoma as a whole is expected to move east-southeast with time tonight and impact, we'll just say mainly the southwestern half of the state. That line's not approximate. I'm just guesstimating here. But these storms that move into southwest Arkansas, far west Arkansas tonight will have the potential to produce large hail, strong winds, and we can't rule out tornadoes either. There's a tornado watch for numerous counties in southwest Arkansas until 9 p.m. But that's why we're live with you, and we plan to be here as long as storms are significant tonight, especially if any large hail is produced.
One storm I'm watching, Zach, that looks a little bit on the stronger side is Logan County, just south of Paris. Now, again, I know that's in a stable environment, but maybe there's some little bit of cool air that it's tapping into, and I think there's some small hail embedded with this.
Yeah, that's they're north of Boonville, north of Magazine. Somebody commented a few minutes ago and said that it was noisy there in Logan County, so I'm sure this is the storm that they're talking about. We really only have one severe thunderstorm warning that includes Arkansas, and that's far south Sebastian County. The storm that's moving into South Fort Smith.
Change.
Okay, are they about to warn the Fort Smith storm?
Yeah, Scott County.
Oh, Scott County, not the Fort Smith storm. Okay, so they're gonna issue.
Yeah,
that's all good. So, folks, what Blaze was referencing there is they're likely going to do a continuation or a new warning that goes into a large chunk of Scott County, probably here pretty soon.
All right, I'm looking at radar scan here. The one near Fort Coffee.
Fort Coffee, yep.
Yeah, it's radar's estimating over 2-inch hail now. So I think the hail core's upticking again on this.
Right here. This is what you're talking about, Blaze. Just north of Fort Coffee, here
Yep.
west of Arcoma. Folks, this will impact South Fort Smith in the next 30 minutes. So just giving you a guesstimation on time frame. If you live in South Fort Smith, there's a potential that large hail is on the way with this storm. Blaze, we do have a new mesoscale discussion too that Frankie just shared with us, mainly for southwest Arkansas. And that does include tornado potential.
Yeah, it does. They went with hail size could be up to 3.5 inches if storms tap into this environment. Whoa.
Wow, that's some big hail.
That's some.
Mainly, I think you're talking about southwest Arkansas, correct?
Yeah.
Folks, we're talking about southwest Arkansas there. A large part of Arkansas will not observe that tonight, thankfully. This is a southwest Arkansas problem for the time being.
I'm starting to see a little bit of an uptick in the rotation that is just to the west of Hatfield. Let's look at that on the shear detector and see what you're seeing on that.
If you want to drive, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. A little bit there. Right there. Yeah. It's broad.
There's broad, but there's something there for sure. Yeah. We'll keep an eye on that storm close. That storm's kind of just doing its own thing down there by itself. Blaze, I've got a few more minutes in me, and then I'm headed out to birthday dinner with Rhett. So, I know that the storm in South Sebastian County, it looks nasty, guys, and I know there's a lot of lightning and there's a lot of thunder, but really this is best case scenario for that storm because this storm earlier was producing some larger hail, and I think that we are in good shape on that storm for the time being. A little concerned about the South Fort Smith area if this storm continues to uptrend there near Fort Coffee, but I think we're set up for success when it comes to avoiding big hail because there's quite a bit of stable air not far, but kind of on that wait and see line, Blaze, with that one. I don't know.
Yeah, we got a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's going to be that expansion for the Scott County area.
I see it here. So, folks,
yeah,
we also got a new warning that it goes all the way to the state line there, just south of that. But this does include the city of Waldron, Scott County, a large chunk of Scott County. Highway 71, of course, runs south out of Mansfield all the way down to Waldron. That includes you. This includes the communities of Cawthron, Oliver, Bryan, Hahn, Evening Shade, Winfield, Lake Hinkle, and Brawley. So, strong winds, hail possible, and a lot of rain and a lot of thunder embedded in this strong thunderstorm moving into Scott County.
Yeah, still showing 2-inch hail according to radar. Now, again, want want to stress this, guys. This is what radar is estimating. Does not mean it's making it to the ground because we're not receiving any kind of confirmed reports. But radar indicate that this storm could be producing over 2-inch hail. And like I said, the environment, according to the Storm Prediction Center, especially with the new mesoscale discussion, is agreeing that these storms could produce some large hail. So we're just going to continue to watch things very closely.
Yeah, it looks like. I cut somebody off.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
A lot of people commenting about Fort Smith. I'm sure probably seeing the stuff and hearing the thunder and whatnot, but I really think that the Fort Smith area, as it stands right now, the hail sizes on that blaze look like it's went down from earlier. I'm not saying that hail is not possible, but I don't think significant hail is moving into Fort Smith anytime soon. If that changes, we'll let you know. But as of 5:37 p.m., it just looks like a fairly strong storm moving into the North Sebastian County area.
Yeah, it's definitely on the weakening trend. Thank goodness. The Mina storm is also kind of on the weakening trend as well. Still kind of surprised we haven't had a severe thunderstorm warning getting issued for Polk County, but I thought they were going to issue one.
Yeah, maybe they're waiting to see if that hail size goes up on that a little bit, or because I don't think winds right now are a huge problem. But yeah, maybe they're just waiting to see what those hail sizes do. Man, it's a mess down in Oklahoma just to the west, though. You can see all these flashing lights, guys. These purples and reds and yellows. Confirmed tornadoes, severe thunderstorms. It's a mess. Unfortunately, southwest Arkansas is probably going to catch some of this tonight, too.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, I mean, it kind of looks like things may be downtrending a little bit on most of these storms, which is great news.
Yeah. I'm really interested to see what this storm that's moving into Fort Smith, I wonder if they're going to keep the warning. I wouldn't be surprised if they drop the warning on this storm, because I'm not so sure it's producing severe hail, but I suppose we'll find out here pretty quick.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything about them continuing it, so I don't know. Checking here, any sources? Nothing right now. So, like we were saying earlier, it's kind of a wait and see game. We're just kind of waiting to see what the National Weather Service does with this particular storm.
Yeah, I think, Blaze, if this storm that's moving into Fort Smith, I think as long as it behaves for us here over the next 5 minutes or so, I'm probably going to get out of here and head to dinner with Rhett Boy for his birthday. I wanted to make sure this didn't do any funky business to Fort Smith, but it looks like it's just going to be noisy with maybe some smaller hail. I don't see anything crazy.
It does start to get a little bit on the stronger side, I think it's going to go south of Fort Smith, regardless of what happens.
Well, so interestingly enough, Fort Smith, the way it's structured on the map here, this down here, I'm going to take the cursor for a second. South Fort Smith is right here. And this area down here this is where the radar site is in Riley Farms over to the west. A lot of this is considered kind of South Fort Smith as well. So it's kind of on that southern flank where the worst of it, I agree with you, I think the worst of it would stay mostly south of Fort Smith, but there's kind of some expansion there of greater Fort Smith, I guess is what I'm trying to allude to. But regardless, I don't see anything extensive with this. I hope I'm right, but I don't see anything crazy. No crazy hail sizes for sure. We just received in the National Weather Service chat a picture of some really large hail near Falfa, Oklahoma. I don't know where that is.
Where's that at?
It's in Latimer County, but that was like baseball size hail. It's huge.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously not in Arkansas, but these storms tonight have produced quite a bit of hail.
All right, here's a new severe thunderstorm warning that does include Mina now.
Okay. There it is. Just
I
popped up.
I think we'll see a new severe thunderstorm warning. I do. I think it's weakening, but I think we could see a severe thunderstorm warning that does include like Lavaca, and could even include Greenwood.
Okay.
Zach, you may be in the path of this.
New severe thunderstorm warning in Polk County, West Valley, Hatfield, Lone Valley, Old Cove, the Cove community, and the McCauley. And this could also impact the Dallas community and areas southeast of Mena in rural Polk County. So large hail possible with the Polk County storm, strong wind gust, and we can't even rule out a tornado with this. There was a tornado possible tag earlier. Blaze, if they're going to trigger a warning on this one, it's probably coming here pretty quick for Fort Smith.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see what the National Weather Service puts out for this. But folks, the reason why we're live with you tonight is we have severe weather ongoing here in western Arkansas. A lot of severe weather going on in eastern Oklahoma that will eventually flow down into southwest Arkansas tonight. We can't rule out the potential for a tornado or two. Large hail is possible along with strong wind gust. There are storms ongoing in other parts of Arkansas. The I-40 corridor from Conway over to Fort Smith, even in South Arkansas, those storms currently are not severe and aren't expected to be severe. Really, the biggest concern tonight is in western and southwest Arkansas. We have 3 warnings right now. We have one that's near Fort Smith, not quite into Arkansas yet, one in Polk County, one in Scott and southern Sebastian.
All right, so newest radar scan showing half-inch hail on the storm that is south or in the near area of Fort Smith. So that's great news. So with that newest radar scan, I know I mentioned that we would probably see a severe thunderstorm warning. With that, we're not. They're not going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning on that. The Polk County storm does look like it's on the weakening trend as well. I'm showing under 1-inch hail for that. So, I mean, things look like they're kind of trending down overall on all of this activity.
Yeah, I think these storms, I can't say for the Mena storm, I haven't looked at the mesoanalysis in a moment, but I would say that the Fort Smith and South Sebastian County storms are encountering that stable air. And I think that that's likely giving us some issues with these storms maintaining their strength. It's not a bad problem to have. It's really a good problem to have. And of course, the other storms off to the east are just kind of dealing with that same issue.
Well, and I think these storms that we're watching here, I think these are just elevated storms. Because like Zach was saying, there's not much instability at the surface for these to tap into. And because of that, they're elevated.
Someone just commented, Blaze, and said small hail near Atwoods in Fort Smith, or near Atwoods in Fort Smith. That's in South Fort Smith where we were just talking about. So I think that's a good confirmation that the hail size is pretty small there in South Fort Smith. Fianna Place, Alan Armstrong just said that's also in South Fort Smith. Alan, if you don't mind, let us know how big that hail is, but they dropped the warning completely on that, Blaze. It's gone. So, Blaze, this is a good spot for me to dip out and reset so you guys can kind of flow for the rest of the evening. Guys, I am headed out. This is my son, Rhett. It's his 8th birthday. We're taking him to dinner. We're going to dinner, so I'm going to bounce out. Blaze, Frankie, and James will take great care of you tonight, and I might see you later tonight as well. I don't know, but Blaze, if you need anything, feel free to give me a call, okay, brother?
Sounds good.
See you,
Good
Frankie.
job. All right, give us 1 second as we kind of reset things here real fast. But again, for anyone that is just joining us, this is what we're tracking. 1 second here, guys. I'm switching some things up real fast. And there we go. All right. All right, so we're back. And again, if you're just joining us, to us, I was thinking that this storm was getting a little bit stronger, and radar kind of showed that, but now it's weakening, so that's great news. And so there's like Zach was saying, there's not even a severe thunderstorm warning issued on it right now, and we're not expecting anything else with that. We're still tracking 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. One that is to the right around the Poto area. It is moving into Arkansas right now, and they've got another storm that is near the Mena area. And we're just kind of babysitting the radar right now. It's an active evening in Oklahoma right now with several severe thunderstorm warnings, even some tornado warnings. We've even had reports of confirmed tornadoes in Oklahoma. And so we're continuing to watch things very closely. And here we go. We got a new, it's like flash flood warning. So we're watching things very closely. Let's see. Looking at some more reports coming in here from the National Weather Service. But Frankie, what do you think? I think overall, I mean, just things kind of look like they're trending down right now, which is great news.
It does look like that. It looks like the storms moving into Arkansas right now are north of the boundary. So I do agree with you. They do look elevated.
Boy, they were riding that boundary though, especially in Oklahoma. And we were looking at that. We're thinking, oh my goodness, again, one storm, and it's actually the storm that is going to the south of Fort Smith, the one we've been watching earlier. This storm was showing on radar 3.62 inches of hail. So over 3.5-inch hail. Now that doesn't mean it's making it to the ground, but that's just what radar estimated. So, and the environment, the dynamics are very supportive of hail tonight. And that's why we think the primary threats is going to be hail tonight and a damaging wind threat. There is a tornado risk, but it is low. I think the primary threats again is going to be hail and wind. And so that's why we're going to continue to watch things very closely. The newest radar scan here for this Mena storm, I see nothing concerning at this point. Wouldn't you agree, Frankie? I mean, they're probably going to cancel the severe thunderstorm warning if this continues to trend the way it's trending.
Yeah, I can tell that updraft is dying and it's floating to the north. It was moving east earlier, but it's kind of trailing off to the northeast right now.
Yeah, and you were advising earlier that it had some rotation. They even went with a tornado possible tag with it. But I will tell you, it kind of looks like this storm, and I know it's, not tapping into the environment, it's elevated, but the Paris storm looks like it could be pretty noisy. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder with this. And this extends all the way south of Clarksville, Russellville, Dardanelle, Morrilton, over towards Conway, Greenbrier. So you can see pretty obvious all these storms are elevated, guys, which is great news. But elevated storms still allow for severe potential. What does that mean? Well, your tornado threat goes down, but the damaging wind risk and hail continues with elevated thunderstorms. But your big, major severe weather typically happens more when storms are surface-based versus elevated. All right, James is in here. I'm bringing him in right now. Welcome, James, to the broadcast. Hold on. Okay, got your mic on. Gotcha.
Gosh, I look kind of rough. Promise I had an okay day. Just late in the day.
What do you think about these storms, James?
Oh man, it's good to get some rain, and we've had a lot of that today across Arkansas. Though I do think we are going to see some hail tonight down in Southwest Arkansas, especially. And if you're on the cool side of the boundary, you don't have a tornado threat. It's pretty much over. There is no tornado threat. That cool air today does what it's supposed to do and keeps that tornado threat low. Blaze, when you get around to it, can you reset Splashtop so I can get access to the computer?
Yep, I gotcha.
Thank you, man. I got a lot of questions on hey, what's happening in Little Rock, what's happening in Central Arkansas. You're hearing thunder in Conway, maybe places like West Little Rock. I think there's a good chance that we see storms continue, which I really thought storms would have ended by now. But the I-40 corridor is littered with storms from Clarksville to Russellville to Conway, and those are going to move to the south too. So we get more rain. I think Adams Field may have a good chance to to pick up more rain. A lot of these places that are in a severe drought get more rain. Leah says, watching from Cali, but have family in Pulaski County, should be worried? No. So I'll draw on here kind of the area that I think really needs to watch tonight as soon as I get access to our computer. If anybody's an expert in Splashtop, I need you to tell me why it just randomly kicks me out and we have to reset it every 6 hours. Crazy. But that notwithstanding, this setup has worked out really well. Blaze does such a great job behind the scenes for us. And Frankie, did you tell everyone about your adventure yesterday?
I did not. It was very uneventful.
Yeah, Frankie went storm chasing in Oklahoma and didn't see a thing. Did you even see rain?
I saw a little bit of rain on the back end of the Enid storm after it had already produced.
Man. All right. Well, guys, I know you've been at it, but we're going to go through some of these severe thunderstorm warnings. The storm that's moving into Scott County is headed towards Waldron. Waldron's in that eastern section of the severe thunderstorm warning. And let me see if I can pull up a vertically integrated liquid product. Blaze, you may have played around with this a little bit more than me.
Yeah, severe products.
There we go. It's so great to have Blaze Thomas on your team. Vertically integrated liquid, it's a fancy term, but it's really going to show you where hail is. It's a very good tool to use. It doesn't always mean hail is falling, but on days where storms are producing hail, it will always show you where hail is falling. So we'll get that pulled up. There's a couple of different severe thunderstorm warnings in western Arkansas. I think we're going to see more tonight. And Kayla's asking where that boundary is. I'm going to draw it on here in just a moment. All right, I don't really like that product. Maybe we have a different one. Okay. I broke it, Blaze. You still have access?
The best product that I found is this one right here. The dual pole reflectivity with hail. Because it'll highlight where the hail core is.
So this doesn't apply to anybody that's watching, but Blaze, that button I just hit, every time I hit that button, it freezes Splashtop, kicks me out. In Barron. I don't know why. It's crazy.
Did it kick you out again?
I think so. I'm trying to connect. Anyways, the boundary is draped from somewhere south of Mena down into far southwest Arkansas to about Texarkana. So there's not much of Arkansas that's in the warm sector. Crystal says, how are we looking for Little Rock? All good, just regular storms. The severe threat tonight really only is in west and southwest Arkansas. South central Arkansas, too. I think as far east as El Dorado, you guys should pay attention tonight. The tornado threat in Arkansas, I think, is very low, except for the far southwest corner. Yeah, Blaze, you got to reset it.
Yep, I just did. You're back in.
Incredible. Love technology. But the storm you're looking at right now is moving out of South Sebastian County into Scott County. And there is some hail with this. I don't think there's just a ton. I think we're going to see a lot of hail reports over the next few days. And if things calm down a little bit, we'll kind of go through the next few days, guys. But we've got the storm that's headed up towards Mena. And to me, kind of looked less and less impressive, I think.
Yeah, before, as it was in Oklahoma, it was showing radar right around 2-inch hail. And then as it moved into Arkansas, it just fell apart.
I just got an update from our app that said hail is approaching the area in Conway. So we might see some small hail that's moving in to Conway. There's a lot of storms along the I-40 corridor. None of these storms are severe. Clarksville, Russellville, Morrilton, Conway, just regular good old thunderstorms. All of our severe storms, look at that, guys. Look at that. You've got, from Little Rock radar, the storm looks a whole lot more impressive. Might actually look at that in 3D. Oh, there's why. Got a storm going right over the radar at Fort Chaffee, which is going to reduce how everything else looks on the radar. They did extend that severe thunderstorm warning out for Zach's neck of the woods. Again, have we had any reports of hail that are bigger than quarter size?
No, not that I'm aware of. We got reports in Oklahoma, but not in Arkansas.
All All right, let's do this. I'm going to pull up the surface plot from the Storm Prediction Center, and I'm going to draw the boundary on here. So right now, the boundary looks like it's just west of Mena, all the way down to DeQueen, really down to Texarkana. I mean, that's really where the boundary is right there. So effectively, the tornado risk is over for Arkansas unless you live in far western Sevier County, far southwest Little River County, far southern Miller County. What we are going to have to watch for, though, because I think you really have to be on the hot side of the warm front to have tornadoes. And that cool boundary, that rush of cool air from earlier storms has been moving through Arkansas through the entire day. And now it's reached the Louisiana border. So now what you're going to see is this complex of storms. I'm going to turn off the lighting there for a minute, guys. This big complex of storms, though, is going to be moving towards the southeast. You can already kind of see it taking shape. All these storms out here, they're moving east southeast. I think they're eventually going to get into southwest Arkansas tonight. Now you see they're quite a ways away, but on their current trajectory, guys, that's where they're headed. Southwest Arkansas between 7 to, let's just say, 10 o'clock, we're going to see those storms move through. And I think that large hail is going to be a good possibility, even on the cooler side of the boundary.
Yeah, it looks like somebody reported 1-inch hail, according to the National Weather Service. Looks like close to Sebastian County. Not exactly sure where, but
And Frankie, are you still with us? Yeah. We've got a new
Yeah,
warning,
yeah.
don't we?
Yep, we have a Torpos severe thunderstorm warning south of Magnolia near Emerson.
It's kind of a rogue storm that's popped up down there.
now that
Yeah, that's in
that one could be a problem.
that's in the southern part of Columbia County, southeast of Magnolia, and that for sure, guys, it's right on the boundary right now. And unless it starts moving southeast, it's probably not going to have much of a tornado threat. It's got to be a right mover, but certainly is some
Got a
hail
little bit
probably in
right
that.
there.
Well,
It's starting
Looks
to
like the
pick up a
boundary
little
fired
bit.
it.
tornado possible tag on that. Okay, so we've got some rotation. The boundary's right real close to there, so we're going to watch that for a moment.
That's
Shreveport's never shy about issuing tornado warnings, so I do think one could be coming.
yeah.
All right, guys, that state highway south of Emerson is Highway 79. Emerson Church sits right there. Macedonia Baptist used to sit right there west of 79. And then you're going to go east of Emerson. You've got Highway 98 that goes towards Atlanta, Arkansas. That looks pretty impressive, guys, actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what the National Weather Service is saying about this, because I would anticipate another media group in Arkansas, I think, is probably fixing to ask them about this storm and what their thoughts are on it. I can see them typing right now.
Let's see here. Arkansas Weather Watchers has a camera in El Dorado. That's quite a bit to the west. I can't really make out the base of the storm. I see the dark clouds to the southwest. All right, if you're in Emerson or if you're in the southern section of Columbia County, we want to know what you're seeing. That's near Forest Grove, Mohawk, and whatever is happening right here in the southwest, just to the west of Mohawk, we want to know. Looks like there is some rotation. You're right on the boundary where it could be possible. Highway 82 course runs up here, west to east. There's a new update. Doesn't look near as impressive,
No.
but so a little bit of rotation with it. Some hail too.
Maybe it'll outrun the
I
the
think
boundary.
so. Yeah. The temperature in El Dorado, for comparison, is 63 degrees. So, you're at
Okay.
63 right here. And then let's just pull the Texarkana observation to compare. Actually, I can do one better than that. Let me go to the hazards viewer. All right, temperature, load. Yeah, so you're rain cooled. In Magnolia, you're at 68, but just to the west of Spring Hill, there's an observation in northern Louisiana. You're at 85.
Wow.
So 68 Magnolia. So your boundary is sitting right through here. And the storm now, I think we just saw it cross over the boundary, guys. I think we saw it try to rotate, and I think it's done because it's moving northeast towards El Dorado. So a hail threat, yes, but I think we can reasonably assess the tornado threat is very low with this storm. So actually, guys, I think the boundary might be right there. I think
that was quick, and that was a little bit of a concern there, guys, because we saw some broad rotation with it, and
yeah.
at one point, I mean it.
Look at that, Blaze. You can see the boundary.
Yep.
See it? It's moving south, west.
Boy, that thing. That
So
sparked up quick, though.
essentially, all the storms on this side of the boundary, the Arkansas side of the boundary, can't produce tornadoes, being on the cool side of the boundary. So tornado threat very low tonight. The hail threat, though, that's a different story. And the storms that are moving into western Arkansas, these that are out in Oklahoma, they produced numerous reports of hail. There have been some tornadoes out in Oklahoma. The severe thunderstorm warning that was in effect for Waldron has been let go, but there's still probably some small hail in there. And then you see Mina also got a little storm that's just towards the southwest. So we're going to see scattered storms through the evening. And I think for the most part, tornado threat very, very low. I know a tornado watch is in effect, but I think the cooler air is going to win out on this one.
Yeah, and just looking at where the boundary is located, James, it kind of looks like it's more south than what the models indicated.
Definitely, and that's pretty typical, Frankie, wouldn't you say? A cold pool from a big complex of storms, it's always going to go farther than you think.
Those outflow boundaries typically fly too.
And that's why it's so hard to forecast severe weather, because when you have several days in a row, something like this can impact the next day. And I think what's happening tonight will impact where storms fire off and track tomorrow. All right, let's take some questions, guys. We'll try not to just be super specific with what about my town going through the next few days, because we truly don't know until storms start firing. But tonight, it's mainly scattered storms. South and west is where they're going to be mainly concentrated. There's some storms right now from Russellville to Little Rock that are not severe. Tomorrow, it's going to be just about humid and dry and just a perfectly nice day. I do think tomorrow at this time, we're going to be watching supercells fire in Oklahoma that could move into Arkansas. And guys, I don't know if y'all looked at some of the data today, but it looked like those supercells tomorrow could produce some very, very large hail.
Yeah, I was looking at some of that data off and on. Just kind of curious to see, because since the models indicated the boundary being a different location, it makes me wonder if, well, not a different location, but just to the south of it, it makes me wonder how much of a change that's going to cause some of these models to be.
Yeah.
Where's the development going to be for tomorrow? That's going to be the $1 million question.
Indeed. One thing's for sure, though. I think storms will fire tomorrow and move into western Arkansas. So there's a medium threat for severe weather. It does include a tornado risk. There's going to be a boundary in play tomorrow, though. So that's tomorrow night is going to be busy. We're going to be live for a long time tomorrow night, I think.
Do you think it's going to be more widespread than what, like the HRRR showing?
Maybe not as widespread, but I think it'll be very impactful. All right, let's take a look at the Mina storm. And actually, guys, what I want to do, I gotta remember
It's
how I did
rotating
it.
a little bit more.
This right here. Yeah, just a little bit. I think there's probably some hail that's falling just southwest of Mina. Looks like we've got a pretty good hail core there. Up towards the north, I got a question about Waldron. Really, this is just a regular thunderstorm coming in. It looks like some small hail is moving through right now, but it's the storm that's coming through Greenwood. Whoa. Storm that's coming through Greenwood probably has some small hail with it as well. My goodness. Struggling here. Let's just do that right there. So those of you in Greenwood, I think Zach just sent a severe weather report, guys, in
Did he?
National Weather Service chat. At least I thought I saw him.
I switched to Shreveport. Let me go back to Tulsa.
Yeah, he's got a picture west of Bonanza on the Arkansas state line. That's bigger than golf ball sized hail. So there's some pretty big hail right now coming into Greenwood, Shadow Lake, Jenny Lind, all those locations up towards Fort Chaffee. Looks like there's a hail core that's moving through there. So Zach went to take his family to dinner. It's his son's birthday, and there's a hail report from somebody watching on YouTube. Hail in Greenwood. So this appears to be the hailer in the state right now, and the picture that we have is of some fairly large hail from Greenwood, or not Greenwood, Bonanza, but it's coming through Greenwood right now.
James, it looks like newest radar scan, the Polk County storm looks a little bit on the stronger side, a little bit higher hail core. And then I also see maybe an uptick just south of Bates, north of Black Fork. Radar is now estimating 1 inch. So we could have essentially another severe thunderstorm warning. I'm not sure that we will, but
There's another cell that's tracking south or northeast that's in southern Nevada County. That's probably going to have hail potential here soon too. And the storm that's to the southwest of El Dorado needs to be watched because I think eventually it could go on to produce some hail as it approaches El Dorado.
we might want to go back to the storm just to the right around the Emerson area. That's the one we were watching. I'm seeing a little bit of an uptick in the rotation with that storm. That's just going to be just to the west of El Dorado. Also, the Mina storm looks like it's starting to intensify a little bit too.
Yeah, I just don't think this one can really rotate just because of where it's at.
Yeah, it's out ahead of the boundary.
Yeah, it's in that cool air. 63 at El Dorado, moving northeast. But definitely some quarter size hail definitely going to be possible in that. You look at the one just to the south of Hope. I think there'd be a probably guys if we had warm humid air in place down here, it would be a different deal. I think we very well would be talking about tornado warnings, but just given where the storms are, it's probably going to limit the tornado threat. Sebastian County has a severe thunderstorm warning till 6:15. I bet that one gets extended with the threats for large hail that continues there, going from Greenwood off towards the east.
Okay. Nope, not a new warning, just a continuation. The alert
Okay.
went off, so I thought we had something, but
I'd say right now though, we're just looking at a lot of storms that are going to be just regular storms with a few severe storms embedded. Here's the hail outlook for tonight from the Storm Prediction Center. You see earlier, they drew their outlook based on where they thought this complex of storms was going to form. And as it moves towards the southeast, I think that is where we have the highest risk tonight. It's going to be kind of as these storms from Oklahoma move towards the southeast. So there's quite a few of them. They all have hail. They've all produced big hail, and I think we're really going to have to watch that going into the late evening. Yeah, we may even have time, Blaze, to take a little bit of a break, kind of wait for these other storms to get into the state, because what's out there right now, I wouldn't consider it to be life threatening.
no, and
And
that warning right there is getting canceled.
the Sebastian County warning,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of surprising given that we have hail reports from that area. Alicia says, Mina, do I need to get to the shelter? No, this is just a regular severe thunderstorm that's got some hail with it just towards your south. That little storm has got a severe thunderstorm warning on it. A couple other storms down in southeast Arkansas have some hail. But I think the real big show tonight comes from these storms that are going to be moving into Arkansas here in about an hour. Now they've had rotation at times, but I think the big threat with these tonight is going to be large hail. And I'll just go ahead and circle the zone that I think is most concerning. You take these storms right here, and we'll just say that box right there is kind of the area where I think these storms are going to track. You guys agree with me there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the
Especially
Mena
with
Yeah.
area,
posting those boundaries.
DeQueen, Texarkana, all the way down to Magnolia, El Dorado. This complex of storms is really what we're going to be monitoring as we go through the next about 5 hours.
That boundary, that boundary might even make its way completely out of Arkansas before these storms
Yeah,
get here.
yeah, I think it is, Blaze. The west side of Texarkana is at 80, but the east side of town is in the 60s.
Wow.
So I think it's all hail.
Yeah, it's kind of a not a wait and see game per se, but we're just kind of watching to see what this does. Um,
We really appreciate all of you who are watching, and big shout out to our sponsors. You are looking at the Tamco Doppler radar. Tamco has hail guard shingles specifically designed for markets like Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Um, and you need them when it matters. You can visit a local installer, or you can learn more about Tamco products at tamco.com. Deborah says, I'm in Conway. It's just rainy with thunder. Are we okay for the night? Yes, I think so. I think just regular storms over in central Arkansas. We'll kind of reset the deck here for you. But there's plenty of rain along the I-40 corridor, and I do not anticipate that stuff getting to be severe.
James, we got a new warning. Just south of Mena. It's for the Mena storm.
All right. Let's take a look at that. So that little storm has looks like it's got a small little hail core on it. And that's going to be on the south side of town between Dallas and Potter Junction. There's Mills Lane. Probably not as far north as Marigold Lane. So there is probably some hail falling on that. And other than that, guys, that's one severe thunderstorm warning we have in Polk County. The other one's down towards the Louisiana border, and everything else is just a regular old storm.
Let's keep it that way. James, I wouldn't be surprised
6:15.
if we see a Oh, what?
Go
What
ahead,
say?
Blaze.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a severe thunderstorm warning on the storm just south of Hope. You were talking about that storm earlier.
Yeah.
And there it is.
There it is.
Yep, just pictured it.
Hey, Blaze, can we try to pull up the camera that's in Bodcaw?
On iDrive?
No, from Southwest Arkansas weather. From NOAA.
Um, I don't have the link to that yet, but let me do some research. Hang on.
Hang on, I'll send it to you. Can
If
I
you could
text
just
it to you?
text it to me. Yeah.
All right, there you go. Yeah, so quarter size hail possible south of Hope. Actually, didn't look at the hail size that they have on this warning. I'd imagine it could probably get bigger than quarter size. Yeah, they've got it for 1 inch hail, 60 mile per hour winds possible there.
All right. You mean take it full, James?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. There we go.
If it's pointed in the direction I think it is, and I think that's towards the southwest, we're getting a view of that storm. What a great spot for a camera. Great job by Noah McGilliard. That is Bodcaw, and that is looking off towards the west.
I'm gonna do a little extra
Southwest.
panel here. Put the camera in the side. That way we've got radar still up there.
So there's Bodcaw right there, off towards the east, and off towards the west southwest. You've got this storm that's producing quite a bit of hail. So we're kind of looking directly back into the storm. That's a really good view, guys, and that is courtesy of Southwest Arkansas Weather and Noah McGilliard.
Which you just
So
had him
that's a
on
live
yesterday.
picture that you're looking at right there.
Yeah, that's according to what I'm seeing right now on the Hascam system, it's this camera's pointed right towards that storm.
Yeah.
But the temperature's only 64 degrees, like you were mentioning. So
Yeah. Tornado threat, very, very low. It certainly looks like hail going to be the big deal tonight. So we have 3 severe thunderstorm warnings in Arkansas right now. You've got the one near Mena. You've got the one for Nevada and Hempstead County, and then you've got Columbia into Union counties. And again, tonight, I think it's all about hail. For those of you in the Little Rock area right now, it looks like it's just all regular storms. You got some heavy rain going through Faulkner County, but none of that stuff is severe. None of that stuff is severe up in Logan County. You just have some storms out towards West Arkansas that do look like they have some hail. Mena, Scott County, and then certainly back into Oklahoma. We'll watch those storms as they move east-southeast this evening. Gene asked if we have the Hot Springs Tower. We do not, but we would love to work on that if you know somebody. Hail just started in Greenwood. That is from Michelle. So right now there's no severe thunderstorm warning for Greenwood, but it looks like there's still hail within this storm, which is no surprise. It was hailing near the Arkansas Oklahoma border near Bonanza. So Well, all right, guys. I think I'm gonna get ready to take a break. Um, I wouldn't consider these storms to be life-threatening. Obviously, don't go stand out in them. But we'll probably hop back on as this big complex of storms starts to make its way through Southwest Arkansas later tonight.
Sounds good. So you wanna switch to music for a little while? Just show radar.
Yeah, we'll leave the radar going. We'll be tracking and watching these storms. If you want to get alerts, go to your Arkansas Weather Network app, and you'll get your severe thunderstorm warning alerts. I think a lot of our storms will be just regular storms tonight, but there will be some pockets of hail down in southwest Arkansas. I think central Arkansas is pretty well out of the woods of a severe weather threat. We're talking mainly just the southwest part of the state. So,
All right.
appreciate y'all for
Sounds
joining
good.
us. Oh, there's your report. Storm chaser Micah just drove through some hail on the east side of Greenwood. Yeah, these storms the next few days are going to be pretty prolific hail producers. So there's the regional view before we go. If you want to stay on the channel or on the app, we're going to leave the radar up, and you'll be able to see exactly what we're looking at. The tornado threat, very, very low for all Arkansas locations this evening. Even though there's a tornado watch in effect, very, very low tornado threat. I don't even expect that we're going to see tornado warnings issued because the cool side of the boundary is kind of taken over. Joni says, will the hail threat last through the night as storms move east? Yes, as storms move east, they'll have a hail threat. Once that complex of storms passes, the threat will end. So you see those yellow boxes, all severe thunderstorm warnings. There's a couple, actually 3 in Arkansas right now, up towards I-40, Russellville, Conway, Little Rock. It's just regular storms, and we do not expect severe weather in the Little Rock metro area tonight. All right, we're just going to go back to some radar, take a break. I'm going to get some dinner, and we'll probably be back later this evening.
Sounds good. All right. We'll see y'all later.